let this be.
Welcome to another episode. Welcome to another episode of Gamecocks Talk with Captain Will. I'm your man, Captain Will. Make sure you like, make sure you share, make sure you subscribe to Gamecocks Talk with Captain Will so I continue to bring you that gospel of Gamecocks every single day. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate the love. Follow me on Twitter at Gamecocks Talk. Follow me on Instagram, Gamecocks Talk with Captain Will. And wherever you get your podcast, you can find your man, Captain Will. We got to go with today, y'all. I said we got to go in today, y'all. We are talking about Dawn Staley. Dawn Staley and her new salary, her new contract, making her the highest paid women's basketball coach in the history of the sport. Head coach Dawn Staley. Ladies and gentlemen, you are now rocking with the best. And since you're rocking with the best, come rock with your man, Captain Will. Highest deal ever, 6-year extension by head coach Dawn Staley. The new athletic director did the right thing because there's no way that Dawn Staley was not going to get extended. Dawn Staley is the prototypical person that you have to sign. You have to, whatever the number on the contract, whatever the details at the bottom of the contract, and we're going to talk about those details, the buyout, you got to agree with it. Because there's no other coach in sports, not women's basketball, not men's basketball, football, whatever the sport is, that has changed the culture, that has changed the trajectory of a program like Dawn Staley. You tell me one. Tell me one. Because before Dawn Staley arrived in South Carolina, we was almost giving away tickets to come into the basketball games. On Sunday, there's going to be 17,000 people cheering for South Carolina. On Thursday, there's going to be 17,000 people cheering for South Carolina. ESPN's game day will be at the University of South Carolina, three-time national champions. You may have other sports where coaches has arrived and changed their record, championships. But I don't know any coach who has uplifted a dormant program, who has brought in a different air to any team. I don't know. South Carolina is different. Y'all bear with me a lot. After a basketball game, I kind of lose my voice a little bit, so bear with me. But it's all good. This is just different. Her annual salary is $4 million. $4 million over the course of the time, and she gets a $500,000 signing bonus immediately. She gets a $250,000 escalator per season. Kim Mulkey was the highest paid coach previously to Dawn Staley. Kim Mulkey's contract was $3.264 million per year. Dawn is $4 million. The significance of this salary in the context of women's sports is on just on a different level, because it shows that the pay gap is closing in. Dawn Staley has said before that you are supposed to be paid what you're worth. Pay what you're worth. So if you're being paid what you are worth and what a program, your impact in this program It should match that. Dawn Staley has matched that. She's matched that. Her previous contract was about $3.1 million. And so you're getting a roughly a $900,000 raise. Actually, more than $900,000. And let's say $1 million raise per season. That is special for women's sports. That's special for South Carolina. That is special for so many things. In terms of other women's basketball coaches and the potential for those coaches to also get these high pay raises when their contract is being renewed or opportunity to extend, those things like that. You know, everybody's not Dawn Staley, everybody's not Kim Mulkey, everybody's not Coach Ariyama, Coach Gino. Everybody's not. But in my humble opinion, if you are the standard bearer for your program at Thus College or university, you should be paid, like I said before, what you are worth. They are wonderful basketball coaches in women's basketball. There are a lot of women's basketball coaches who can coach college men's basketball, coach the NBA, coach the WNBA. There are a lot of them. They just have not had this opportunity just yet, which brings me to the buyout for Dawn Staley. Dawn Staley's buyout is like this. If she leaves the university within the next 6 years because of whatever reason, she has to pay the portion left on the contract back. Okay? But if she gets a WNBA job, head coach, assistant coach, she doesn't owe the university nothing. Not a thing. If she gets a NBA job, head coach or assistant coach, she owes the university nothing. Nothing at all. So there's a small window. There's a small window of Dawn Staley potentially going to the NBA or the WNBA. But like she said before, she is a dream merchant. She loves the development of kids. She's 54 years old, and I don't anticipate her going nowhere. I don't anticipate her going nowhere. She had a job interview with the Portland Trail Blazers, I want to say in 2021. And in that interview, it was in her words, it was a real interview. It was going forward, things like that. And it had another interview with another team, and it was more so almost she don't want to be like a publicity stunt. She don't want to be like that. There was those rumors of Dawn possibly getting an interview with the Charlotte Hornets. You know, Dawn Staley has probably forgotten more about basketball than most of the coaches out there in the NBA. Because there's not many coaches in the NBA who has the resume that Dawn Staley has. There ain't many of them. There ain't many of them who's Hall of Famer as a player and as a coach. There ain't many of them who's had national championships on an international level, gold medals. There ain't many of them. Dawn, you're talking about one of one. One of one. One of one. The impact on recruiting and talent acquisition for the South Carolina women's basketball team has just went up. Anytime you have a coach that's locked in for 6 years, 6 years tells you as a player or a parent of a player that there's some stability in the program. There's a lot of movement, not as much in college basketball as it is in college football, where you got coaches jumping here, jumping there, going here, and with the NIL and transfer portal, you basically need an NIL and transfer portal for these coaches because they're going all everywhere, right? But it's not like that as much in college basketball. But I would say this right here: if you are a high level recruit in the 2025-2026 class, you know that Dawn Staley is going to be there for several years. You know that. As a parent, you're like, okay, bet. Okay, my child will be coached by the three-time national champion and head coach Dawn Staley for the duration of a college career. That is stability. That is influence. That is proving that what is said at the University of South Carolina is true. It's a family. It ain't going nowhere. What parent out there don't want to hear, or do want to hear, I should say, that the coaching staff will stay intact? That's what this contract does for South Carolina women's basketball. Her success on the court reaches out to several branches. You have other coaches saying, her peers saying, that Dawn Staley is the standard bearer for women's basketball. How dope is that? How amazing is that for opposing coaches in the SEC or top 15 coaches saying stuff like that? Like, hey, yeah, that's the real deal. That is how you are supposed to do it. And we're going to follow this pattern that Dawn Staley has set up. That is so wonderful. It's just amazing being celebrated by your peers, and the take of understanding your worth, and that goes in every different job, that goes in relationships, that goes with every interaction, public interaction, knowing your worth. And what are you supposed to receive? Yeah, it's just so cool. It's just so cool. But it motivates these coaches. Make no mistake about it. It motivates these coaches to get that dollar. It is, because everybody want to get paid, right? Everybody want to get paid. Captain Will want to get paid too. Everybody wants to be paid. And everybody wants that gap to change, the gender gap to change in terms of pay, discrepancy in pay. You want to get the same thing that the men are getting, especially like right now. Because this is the thing, y'all. College basketball is different. It is different because you have not just South Carolina women's basketball, but you talk about women's basketball is more popular. And the folks that want to say this. Folks that want to say this right here. Women's basketball is more popular than men's college basketball. It is. It's the fact. It's the truth. They are not developing the stars in college basketball for the men. They ain't doing it. There is the notion that the reason why the NBA is getting low ratings now is because the players that are going to the NBA aren't ready to go to the NBA. And it's been like a 10-year cycle where that has been apparent. Let me digress for a little bit, right? You got Cooper Flagg for Duke. Number one player in college. Was number one player in high school, right? Know he's going to the NBA draft in June. You know that, right? Everything that's how it's going to go. But that brother ain't ready. That brother is not ready to go to the NBA. But he's ready to go in this version of the NBA. He's ready because now with college basketball on the men's side, if you have a freshman, no, scratch that. If you are a junior or you are a senior playing men's college basketball, you ain't good enough to go to the NBA because you should leave in your freshman year. If you're good enough, you should be going your freshman year. That's the complete opposite in women's basketball. Complete opposite. Because if it was the same way in women's basketball, this would be Joyce Edwards, one and only year at the University of South Carolina. She'd be gone to the WNBA draft. This would be Sarah Strong's one and only year in college basketball. She'd be gone. Jelani Cambridge. You know, and in the previous year, Hannah Hidalgo, gone. Juju Watkins, gone. MiLaysia Fulwiley, gone. Tessa Johnson, gone. All those players will be going to the WNBA. College basketball on the women's side cultivates. It nurtures. It fertilizes. We become part of the story. We are a part of the growth of these young ladies from freshman year to senior year. So you feel like those are babies, especially when you're middle-aged like me. You know, me and my wife, you're like, those are babies. Those are ours. When their parents say that, they are babies, right? That's how we feel. So we watch the nurturer of the growth of these young girls into women, and then they go out to the WNBA. We don't see that in men's college basketball. You know, the product of women's college basketball is better than men's college basketball. And I'm a brother who's saying it. You know, it's not popular like that to say that, oh, no, I'm going to go. Brothers ain't talking about no men's college basketball in the barbershop. They are not sitting around discussing like we used to do back in the day. They ain't discussing when you know, you can name multiple rosters on the basketball team. No. They ain't discussing that stuff. You know what they're talking about? This is what they're talking about. They're talking about this upcoming game on Thursday. I know. They're talking about Carolina and LSU. That's what they're talking about. And what they're going to do, Kim Mulkey. That's what they're talking about. They ain't talking about, no. Come on, man. So you got to pay these girls, these ladies what they are worth. You have to. You got to reward that. You got to reward the ratings. You got to reward all those things. We can talk about the Caitlin Clark effect in regards to almost 19 million people watching that game last year. Championship game with South Carolina won. Became the three-time national champions. We can talk about that. But I tell you this right here. It's going to be the same way this year. Because of the sport. You got characters. You got you have you have players who you can build storylines for. You can't do that in men's college basketball. You can't. I'm just keeping it real. Pay these women what they are worth. I'm like, ooh. The viewership and the interest in this sport is exploding. You got Unrivaled starting tonight. So you ain't gotta wait. So this, and it's a perfect time. It's literally the perfect time to start Unrivaled. Playing in Miami. You know, some of the top WNBA players are gonna be playing in this league, making $300K. And then it rolls right into, it's very smart by Breanna Stewart and Nafisha Collier. Very smart for it to start right now, because then you roll right into March Madness on the college side, and then WNBA. You continue that momentum. Unrivaled, scratch that. Women's college basketball starts the momentum, and it's just going up. And then you got Unrivaled, it continues to go up, okay? And then you go to March Madness where it's like almost at the peak. And then you roll right into the WNBA draft and the WNBA season. That is so right to do. So you are going to engage the viewers and give them something to talk about. That is, it's just smart. It's smart for them. And they making good money. The expertise and the contributions that head coach Dawn Staley has done for basketball is pretty much unmeasured. You can't even put it on a chart, South Carolina. It's unchartable. But bringing focus, bringing highlight, because Dawn Staley is and we talk about coaches. In women's college basketball, the two celebrities in women's college basketball in terms of coaches is Dawn Staley, Kim Mulkey. They are, bar none, they are the celebrities. When you're looking at men's college basketball, or you're looking at the totality of college basketball in general, the two most popular coaches is Dawn Staley and Kim Mulkey. Men's or college basketball. We can say about John Calipari. We can talk about him. We can say that. We can have that discussion as well. We can say that. But in my humble opinion, in Captain Will's opinion, he's third in line behind Staley and Mulkey. There's a huge fan base. This is the thing. There's a huge fan base of kids who wants to be like these women. Huge fan base. I ain't never seen them do a John Calipari dress up contest like they did with Mulkey. I ain't never seen no mess like that. I ain't never seen, Dawn Staley, people like every day when she have a game, like people saying what she wore. What she wore in the basketball game, critiquing all those great things. The interest in those coaches is at an all-time high. But it still needs to be better quality. It still needs to be more investment in women's sports. Make no mistake about it. It still needs to go a little bit higher. We got Title IX. We still got to take care of everybody. I didn't even know much about Title IX until I was stationed at West Point. And I learned that hey, football and is the main generator of income. It takes care of basically all the sports, at West Point anyway. You can say, a little bit of basketball, a little bit of hockey or whatever, but for the main part. Now, the University of South Carolina, the main revenue earner is football. We know that. We know that, right? Because, these high television contracts and all these different things that's going on, we understand that. But here, let me check it out. Let me see this right here. The only national, last time somebody got a championship with South Carolina. Okay. Now we got some sports at the University of South Carolina, and some of those sports don't generate revenue. South Carolina women's basketball do. And now, especially in March Madness, now these teams are going to start getting paid. It just, if you invest in a product, if you put millions of dollars in the product, you're going to see the dividends of this product. And we see it in women's basketball. I wish it was like that 30 years ago, 40 years ago. But it's like that now. It's like that now. And you have players who are going to reap the benefits for many, many years going forward. You have coaches and staffs who's going to reap all those benefits. This is why Dawn Staley is the GOAT. This is why Dawn Staley, she is a force multiplier. She's a force multiplier in women's sports because everybody is going to get a bite of the pie that Dawn Staley is serving out. And we talk about coaches, we talk about athletic trainers, we talk about players, families. Everybody is. Because there got to be one who ain't afraid to talk about nothing, who's unbothered. And that's Dawn Staley. That is head coach Dawn Staley. The sponsorships and the revenue streams that are changing in women's college basketball and women's sports in general, because more money is being brought in. You got Indiana building a $79 million, Indiana Fever being a $79 million practice facility. You got, WNBA after this collective bargaining agreement, the girls going to start getting paid in 2026. I'm talking about really start getting paid. Everything is changing. I mean, I salute Dawn Staley. This is like so great for her and her family and for South Carolina. It's just amazing. It's just amazing. Coming off a victory, last night over Alabama, we play Oklahoma on Sunday and then LSU on Thursday. Everything is just, coming up in spades for us as Gamecock family. Dawn Staley, girl, you just keep doing it. This concludes another episode of Gamecocks Talk with Captain Will. I am your man, Captain Will. Make sure you like, make sure you share, make sure you subscribe to Gamecocks Talk with Captain Will so I continue to bring you that gospel of Gamecocks every single day. Ladies and gentlemen, you are now rocking with the best. Assist your rocking with the best. Come rock with your man, Captain Will. Let's go.
J-Rock did this